let's start with the basic of, and I read something in your profile that you help real estate agents stand out online, win new business using powerful consumer insights. So do you want to break that down a little bit for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I know, and I think what we all know if we think about it, is if you imagine it's a Saturday night and you're sitting there on the settee, you've got Netflix on or BritBox or whatever your preferred movie app is, and you're trying to select a movie for that night. And the behavior of us today is we just keep flicking. We just keep flicking. I'm sure you do it, Kylie, when you're at home. And we give each movie probably a fraction of a second, and we make a decision whether or not we're going to scroll on or we're going to stop and we're going to pay a bit of attention. Well, that is exactly how buyers and sellers, when they're in research mode, whether or not they're looking to buy an investment property, whether or not they're looking for a property manager to look after their investment property, whether or not they're looking to buy a property. There are so many agents in Australia. There are so many property managers in Australia. And so I know that the behavior is very similar to that Netflix thing that we've just talked about. So it's really, really important that if you're a property manager, if you're a business leader, you're a real estate agent, you've got to create a digital shop window that grabs the person who's researching. You grab them, you say, look at me, I'm worth checking out. And that's what I've been doing really since I left realestate.com.au just prior to COVID.
So I'm a huge advocate as well. Standing out online is something that I teach and I encourage people in my community as well. So what are some of the ways that in this day and age, and I guess maybe, you know, the top three things, maybe let's break it down, the top three things that you would be recommending anyone do with when it comes to either enhancing or starting with a digital profile?
Yeah, well, let me talk about one which is it's not an amazing one. We'll get on to something a little bit more detail in a second, but I want to talk about one that thousands and thousands and thousands of property managers and real estate agents get wrong, and that is their contact details are not up to date. And you will be gobsmacked at the number of people in this industry that have a LinkedIn profile. And when you go to their contact details, they're missing a mobile phone number. The email address is a Big Pond email address and not sort of at Ray White or at LJ Hooker. And at bigpond.com.au doesn't make you look very professional. So the one thing that I know is so many real estate professionals get the contact details wrong. So I've just got the real easy one out of the way, but I want to talk about the one that I think is really, really important. And I have to say, Kylie, you do a tremendous job with this, because I call it, and I have to say, I pinch this from Maz Farley, the name, but Maz Farley calls it the Netflix trailer. So when you think about that analogy I just painted, Saturday night, you're flicking through the videos, the movies, I should say, and you might stop on one and you'll watch the trailer, and the trailer will go for about 45 seconds. And if you can get the consumer, get the watcher to be gripped by that 45 seconds, then you're a winner. And so every single property manager, every single real estate leader, every single real estate agent has got to think about their Netflix trailer. So your Netflix trailer, when I look at your LinkedIn, is helping property managers and real estate professionals build iconic businesses. We elevate brands and simplify systems so our clients earn more income with less stress. Yeah. And that for me is a really, really good Netflix trailer, because if I was searching through LinkedIn or online on whatever platform digitally, and I came across that would make me curious to find out more about you, Kylie. Now, what a lot of property managers do, what a lot of real estate agents do, is they have something really dull and boring, like Steve Carroll, real estate agent, or Steve Carroll, property manager. And that's really, really dull and boring and uninteresting. You could have, if you wanted to be really dull and uninteresting, Kylie, you could have Kylie Walker coach. But so what? Who cares? So, bit of advice, have a look at your Netflix trailer, whether or not it's on your own website, whether or not it's on LinkedIn, whether or not it's when people say to you at a barbecue, what do you do for a living, Steve? Make sure you can articulate it really well in 10, 15 seconds, because the chance of them wanting to hang around at that barbecue and talk to you in more detail goes higher if you can articulate what you're about really in a real punchy way in 10 or 15 seconds.
Like an elevator pitch.
An elevator pitch, yeah. An elevator pitch. I call it a Netflix trailer because I like to tell the story of how we can shoot, how we choose a video, choose a movie. No different to how when we're researching for a property manager, we choose a property manager, we choose an agent, and.
Absolutely. We're showing our age by talking about videos, aren't we?
We are. I tell you, I can't. You know, we do sure when those little words slip in, don't they? Videos, yeah.
Yes.
People under 25 listening to podcasts, we go, "What is a video?"
Yes. Or at least you didn't drop in a VCR or something like that.
Or a CD.
Or CD, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, correct. I'll watch for those old quotes, old sayings as we move forward.
That's all good. It's all good. So is there another one? So we're going to talk about 3 things. So that was sort of 2 things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what one of the really important ones is I often see agents, property managers, real estate leaders on social media, and they're what I call they're distributors of information. So they basically say to their followers on whatever social media platform, here's a bit of news, and that's all they do. They distribute the news. There's been a rate interest cut. This is the announcement. And what I see really good real estate professionals do is they don't just distribute news on social media. They articulate information in a way that is of benefit to the user. So what I mean by that is if there was an interest rate cut today, what I would recommend a property manager to do or a real estate agent to do is take that information and re-communicate it to your audience in what it means to them. So there's been this cut. If you're an investor in Brisbane, this is what it means. And so the third bit of advice I would give when you're trying to build out that digital profile of yourself that gets noticed, be interesting online. Post stuff that is of value, because then you'll build up credibility, you'll build up a following, and you'll build up loyalty as well, Kylie.
Absolutely. Oh, look, you're talking to the converted here. I spruik exactly those conversations all the time. And sometimes you wonder if I know it works for me, but you wonder if people really believe the stuff that you spruik. But you actually work with real estate agents from all over the world. Are you finding that, having really good digital profiles, sharing really valuable, informative content is actually translating to dollars and new business and growth for these agents?
100%. 100%. So I spent a lot of time during my 10 years at REA diving into evidence to answer what you've just asked. I also spent a couple of days working at LinkedIn in the United States as a part of a study tour. And again, the question that you've just asked, I can categorically say, yes, it does make a difference. Now, let me give you an example of someone who has really propelled her image because of the work that she's done on social media. Some people really like her. Some people can take her or leave her. And Lisa Novak won't mind me describing her as that person. I've just come back from the UK. I've been there working for 4 to 5 months. And people say to me, have you ever met Lisa Novak? And I think to myself, how the hell do they know Lisa Novak? Because I'm in Manchester or Birmingham or Bristol. Lisa Novak's in Sydney. And that is the strength of social media reach. And when I was in the UK, the names that people would say to me that, have you met John McGrath, Tom Panos, and Lisa Novak? Now, Lisa Novak's only been selling real estate for 5, 6, 7 years, but what she's done is she's propelled a brand and her image by working really, really hard on social media. And those people that know Lisa and have followed Lisa will know a lot of her content is raw, but it's the real Lisa. And a lot of the content, again, is not just spruiking information for the sake of spruiking information. It's sharing information, and it's saying to people in the northern beaches of Sydney, this is what it means to you. So 100%, it's a bit like going to the gym. You won't get abs after doing a few sit-ups. You won't get biceps after just doing a few push-ups. It takes time. And what I'd say around social media is you're not going to have a huge following just because you posted a little bit here and a little bit there. It takes time, but it's worth the energy.
If you're ready to be a super organised, focused and productive property manager, buckle up, because Colmio is about to revolutionise the way that you work. Colmio is the driving force behind property management excellence in residential real estate. Now picture this, a comprehensive end-to-end system designed to be the beating heart of your property management tasks, manage your properties, owners and tenants, and handle payments, inspections, and even marketing listings without leaving the platform. Colmio is designed to be an all-in-one solution to all your property management needs. And here's the game changer. Colmio isn't just software. It's been awarded the most innovative prop tech scale up in 2023. Yes, you heard it right. Colmio has been recognised for their groundbreaking approach to property management software. How good is that? So property managers, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, dive into the future of property management with Colmio. You can book in a demo with the team today and go in their weekly draw for a Prezi gift card worth $100. All you need to do is to head to the link colmio.com/thatpropertymum, and Colmio is KOLMEO.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Now, you touched on LinkedIn. Let's just quickly talk about a couple, are there platforms in particular that are more beneficial for real estate agents, in your opinion? I have my opinion on this, but in your opinion, is LinkedIn better than, say, Instagram or TikTok? And is it also important to be across platforms, making sure, because I see a lot of agents, their social platforms and profiles are really good, but then you have a look on their realestate.com or their domain platform, their profiles, and their photos are not fitted in properly, or their brand, their logos are all blurry. Is it really important? So I guess 2 questions. Sorry to bombard you with 2 questions at once. One, which platforms are better, stronger, more relevant? And then secondly, across the board, digital profiles are really important.
Yeah, so look, I'm not an expert on any of the platforms. The one that I spend a lot of time understanding and really working is LinkedIn. And the reason for that is, and by the way, before I explain the reason for that, LinkedIn is probably the one platform really underutilized within the real estate industry. And it bamboozles me why real estate agents and property managers are not attracted to LinkedIn more, because it is, for me, and here's an old-fashioned, this is an old-fashioned name. It's a bit like the Yellow Pages. It's the digital version of the Yellow Pages, but it's got everything across the world on. Yeah, it's such a massive platform. And certainly I've built up a lot of new customers. I've built up my brand using LinkedIn. So look, clearly Instagram's important. TikTok seems to be really gathering momentum and pace. Facebook, without question, has a place. But I think LinkedIn is the one that people should lean into and understand a little bit better. The one challenge I think that we all have today is, where do your reviews go? Because reviews and recommendations are absolutely critical. And whenever we're planning a holiday, my wife will choose hotels, she will choose restaurants through what other people say about those hotels or restaurants. It's critical you've got up-to-date reviews and recommendations. The challenge I think we have today in real estate is, well, how do you spread all of those reviews and recommendations across all the platforms? But you've got to have a crack at it. You've got to have 2024 reviews on realestate.com.au. You've got to have 2024 reviews on Google, on Domain, on LinkedIn, and probably your own website as well. So it's a bit cumbersome. Ideally, there would be a tool which would take one recommendation or review from Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and you'd be able to put it right across all of those platforms. But that's not the way it works in real estate for political reasons. So you've got to figure out a way where you can distribute those reviews and recommendations so you've got something up to date on every single platform that people look at.
Yep. And so that my second part to that question then is, so it's really important to be looking at your digital profiles across, not just your social media, but your websites, your realestate.com domain as well, because people are researching all over the place, aren't they?
Yeah, well, look, if you go back 10, 15 years before the internet really took a hold, and before every agent had profiles on platforms like realestate.com and Domain, the need to have a digital shop window was nowhere near as great as it is today. But the bottom line is, we just have to accept that that is the way people research. They research whatever service provider they're looking to do business with. They check them out online, they shortlist, and then they call in people and interview them physically. The goal of a digital shop window is to make sure that you get called in. Once you're in, then it's down to your personality, it's down to your scripts and dialogues, it's down to your rapport building. But if you don't have a good digital shop window, you won't even get invited into the meeting. So that's really where I've spent a lot of my time working with agents on the do's and don'ts. And there's some real simple do's and don'ts, and we've covered a few of them already. Your contact details, don't just be a distributor of information, share information and explain to the community why it matters. Get your photographs up to date as well, Kylie. Really interesting. When I was at REA, we did a lot of work with sellers and landlords, and we would ask them this question. We'd say to them, when you're researching for someone to look after your investment property, or you're researching someone to sell your property, and you're looking online and you're putting people into the I'm interested camp, or I wouldn't want to touch them with the barge pole camp, what are the things that turn you on and turn you off? And really interestingly, Kylie, if you're an agent and you've got a photograph on your platforms that was taken 8 or 9 years ago because you liked the picture, because you looked a bit thinner, you look less grey, and so on and so forth, all you're doing by using that picture is you're misleading a potential customer from the get-go, from the word go. And when we would speak to, as I say, landlords or sellers, they would say, well, when the agent turned up, I was expecting someone in their mid-30s, and this guy turns up who's clearly early 50s, and it already puts me offside with that person. So you are who you are, Kylie. You've just got to get an up-to-date picture. It's really important.
I would, funnily enough, you mentioned that because I was at a event yesterday with mortgage brokers, and there was a lady talking about, I can't even remember what she was talking about. I think she was talking about confidence. This is ironic. She was talking about how to build your confidence, how to have confidence to have cold calls or network and introduce yourself at events. And then her final closing bit was, she was talking about how to have profile pictures on things. And she shared an AI tool that will enhance and improve your profile picture. And I just thought that was such a contradiction to having confidence and showing up as you are. And again, you're setting yourself up for mistrust from the start by not being your authentic self. It was a really contradictory message that she was sharing with the room. And I just thought, no, you just get a nice professional photo and share who you are. And if people, that's it, that's confidence.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a quick story on that. I was working with an agent who lacked confidence. And one of the things so this is in the UK recently. And I was saying to this lady that, you've got to have a long think about what you are very proud about, something you do as an individual that makes you feel very proud and good about yourself. And this lady said to me, well, there isn't anything, because there's nothing special about me, and there's nothing unique about me, and so on and so forth. And I said, you know what, you're underselling yourself. There is something special and unique and lovely about every single person. You just need to ask yourself the right question to get to that. And anyway, I had a conversation with her, and it led to her telling me that when she wasn't doing real estate, what she loved doing, she loved giving a helping hand to the RSPCA. So she loved helping out cats and dogs that had been mistreated by their owners, making them better, and then finding a lovely home for them. And I said to her, that is beautiful. That is what's special about you. So she changed her profile on all her digital platforms to herself with a dog and a cat literally sitting on her knee. Yeah. And then in the description of about me, she said, I'm a real estate agent. I do this, I do that, and I do the other. But when I'm not doing real estate, what I love doing is helping find lovely homes, new homes for dogs and cats that have been mistreated. She was telling me that 6 or 7 weeks later, after reposting her or rewriting her about me and changing her profile picture, she won a listing. She won a listing from a lady who also loved cats and dogs that was selling her property. And there was that instant connection between the two. And she got the listing on the back of that. So, going back to the lady yesterday, building up your confidence isn't about using AI to portray a picture of you that's not real. It's about, as you say, accepting who you are, but building out that profile to make people interested in what you're about. And every single one of us has got something to be proud of that's worth sharing.
Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.